Well, innovation is something the gentleman in our next story has been doing pretty much all his life. In an Oklahoma profile, we take you to the Oklahoma Panhandle to introduce you to Paul Hitch.
For over 100 years, the Hitch name has been synonymous with agriculture in Oklahoma. Paul Hitch has seen firsthand how agriculture in the state has developed.
Well, certainly we're doing things a lot differently in agriculture. I mean, the small family farm idea, was changing as I was growing up. I mean, there were family farms, but they were becoming less and less small.
Paul's father, Henry, knew that in order to be successful at farming, they needed to get the most out of what the land and surrounding areas had to offer, thus creating the H.C. Hitch feed yard in Guyman, which is now just one of 3 within the company.
We started growing corn every year. Well, if you have a corn crop every year, you can feed cattle because now you get a reliable supply of feed, and you're right here, sitting here in Oklahoma, and Texas is next door, so you got plenty of places to buy feeder cattle. So Dad built a feed lot, we started feeding cattle. And other people did too. We weren't alone in this regard, but we were one of the first.
While cattle proved to be the starting ground for the Hitch family, it was Paul who had the foresight to expand into the pork industry.
But in the talking with Seaboard, when they were initially setting up, we built 28 barns and rented them to Seaboard. And we made them legitimate in the eyes of the community by building a bunch of barns and renting them to them. And it looked like there was money to be made in pigs.
Paul knew that in order to make this venture a success, he had to find a way to work it into their existing farming operations. What was once dryland wheat is now 3 finishing barns and a lagoon.
Each of the barns holds about 1,000 pigs. So I can have 3 finishing barns with 3,000 pigs and the lagoon, and I take the water out of the lagoon and put it back on the circle, and I can sell $1 million worth of pigs. So, which is more beneficial to the community? $1 million worth of pigs, $500 worth of wheat.
Now Hitch Enterprises and Seaboard Farms are 2 of the largest businesses in the Oklahoma Panhandle. And Paul says, looking back, it was a smart investment.
I gave up a lot of money to get pork, but I didn't give up a lot of production of other things. I didn't have to discard something in order to produce pigs. And I think that you don't get those kinds of opportunities to have a whole bunch of something and not give up a whole bunch of other things. You don't get those chances very often, and to me, it's something a guy ought to do.
And not very often do you find leaders with the foresight and ingenuity to make it happen.
Well, Paul Hitch, along with Kim Brock, were both honored this past weekend with an induction into Oklahoma's Pork Council Hall of Fame.